going to kiss him. I will say that, Daddy, welcome to Ghana.
Next up is Niles and Matilda. Yeah. So Matilda is getting ready to go see Niles and pick him up at the airport. And her sister is helping her pick a sexy outfit. Okay, there is something about this that I wanna, point towards. Is it just me, or is she wear like Louis Vuitton? Like, did I just see like multiple Louis Vuitton in that room? But then at the same time, I'm African, okay? So back home, we love all the designer clothing, all the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and all that stuff, like mass produced. But we can't afford it, and so we find a cheaper alternative like Okrika. If you know what I mean, it's just a second hand, kind of like a thrifty. We find a way to get like the fake version, if that makes sense. But I'm thinking that it looks like it, but because if it's real, then I'm like, okay, maybe this guy has not been very truthful about how much she's making or how much she has. But I don't think it's real. I think it's probably a fake designer. Tells us that, she is so excited to see Niles. She's gonna run over to him and hug him and say, Daddy, welcome to Ghana. I don't know why that just makes me feel like, girl, do you have some daddy issues? But then again, I thought about it. I think she says she has lost her dad, I think. So the goal is they're not going to sleep with each other. They're not going to do anything because she wants God to bless this relationship. That Niles is already in his traditional Ghanaian shirt. This man is beginning to look like Kofi. Seriously, he looks like a Kofi, but he's also such a nice gentleman though. Like when they were on their way to the restaurant, he literally like went around, like he got out of his car, went around and then opened the door for Matilda. Then he asked her, oh, is it okay that I'm opening the door for you? Do you like that? Because I don't want to do anything that you do not like. That's so amazing. Like, that's so gentlemanly. Even when but she says like, you know what, yes, I like it. Let's keep going. And then when they get inside the restaurant, he actually opens the chair like a gentleman. I was like, ooh, Niles, you are such a gentleman, And then next they ordered a soup. Okay, and this soup has like snail, crab, and goat meat. I was like, ooh, this stuff is so good. But basically, Matilda is like, oh, she wants Niles to eat really good because, he's a Ghanaian king. So I was like, okay. Actually, when I saw that soup, I was like, this is so delicious. As a matter of fact, by the time I'm done filming this, I'm going to be going to the African store so I can make some delicious soup for myself. So anyways, I saw Niles eating that snail. Okay, he was asking everyone like, should I eat it? I'm like, yeah, it's soup and everything in there is palatable. Like you can eat it. And the way he eats it, I was like, you are a natural, sir. Mr. Niles, are you sure you've never been to Ghana before? You tell me the truth now. Or were you practicing? Because he is beginning to blend right in. I'm telling you, if he literally walked into the market in Ghana and says, hey, I'm Kofi, I don't think anyone is gonna question that. Like, they're just gonna believe it, honestly. And they start talking, and Matilda's brother brings up this idea, or not idea. Matilda's brother brings up the topic of conversation that Matilda is quick to temper. And I think this kind of like hits now as a different. He was like, wait, what do you mean by that? And basically the brother is like, well, I mean, she also confirmed. She was like, I'm just quick to anger. And he was like, holy shit. I was gonna tell her like we might have to postpone this wedding, so it's looking like I might have to postpone telling her that we have to postpone the wedding. And I was like, man, Mr. Niles, you are in for a very turbulent ride. Then they get into the hotel, And the goal was, well, they were both saying like, oh, you just go ahead and sleep. I'm not going to we're not doing anything. We're not doing nothing. And then she gets ready, she jumps on the bed and she was like, give me kiss, good night. And then boom, she started climbing on top of him. She was like, I was like, and you really think you're not gonna do anything? Who are you lying to? Who are you lying to? You're locked in the other room and you're trying to tell us, you're trying to convince us that nothing is happening. Excuse me. What do you take me for? I wasn't born yesterday, okay? So I know. Okay. Finally, we're catching up with Loren and Faith. And it looks like Loren has gone to the clinic and he got a medication that is going to last for a week. He's already taking it. And so, Loren, let me educate you since you don't know. Because at one point it was like, oh, I didn't know that my friend is exposed to an STD. She looked very clean. Listen to me, sir. They don't write it on the forehead. Okay, if someone has a STD, you're not gonna know. You can't know. Okay, it's not written on the forehead. Everybody is not walking around with HIV positive and gonorrhea negative or whatever on their head.
Excuse me, do I have fuck me written on my forehead?
So Loren calls his ex-wife, or is it his ex-girlfriend? I think her name is Esther. I think they were in a relationship and they became friends. Anyway, tells her in a FaceTime that he finally told Faith that he was exposed to an STD, gonorrhea. And even Esther was like, what? You have STD? He said, what? How? And then he explains it. And I was like, okay, so obviously, this is not a big deal to Loren anyways. But they started talking about how because it was exposed to an STD, that indicates that it wasn't being faithful to Faith. Pun intended. So basically, Esther asked him, okay, so now that you found out that, now you've had an STD and Faith, being Faith, she definitely wants you to be faithful to her. So what are you going to do, sir? Are you going to, give up that polygamous lifestyle and be, strict with only one person, Faith? And that was a very good question. I was like, Loren, what are you going to say? So Loren was like, in his talking head interview, it's like, if you really love somebody, I think being in a polygamous relationship should not be a problem. And I don't understand what this guy is smoking. Okay, this guy must be smoking a combination of crack and marijuana and cocaine. I don't know, some kind of street drug, because how does this even make any sense? If you love somebody, monogamy should not be a big problem for you, Mr. Loren. Get it together, zip it up. Okay, that green coming out of your cucumber is not enough, huh? You are you waiting for it to become brown? God, get it together, look it up. Anyway, it finally tells Esther that he would try to be monogamous. Try, in air quotes. My God. Anyways, we catch up with Faith and she's meeting up with her friends. I think the plan was they were supposed to go out, meet Loren, and then get her nails done. So in this situation, meeting Loren is not going to be an option. So she goes out and meets her friends anyway. And so they are getting her nails done. So at the salon, her friends were asking her like, hey, how is, having an American boyfriend, excuse me. And she was like, fine. And then all of a sudden she was just pretty sad, and I think her friends could sense that she was sad, and so they were like, hey, can you just just open us, let us know what's going on. And then she finally starts breaking down. I felt so sad for her. I just wanted to hug her and tell her, it's gonna be okay, it's not your fault. You're saying that you made a big mistake, but you're not really making a big mistake, because unfortunately you didn't know this guy and you really needed him to to come over, you guys needed to meet each other so that you can be able to know him. And I think that was where this came up to be. Well, at least I'm glad that Loren, he did something right, at least, because he was able to tell Faith, like, hey, listen, I'm infected, so we can't kiss or whatever. So that's a good thing on this part. Okay, you're nasty, but that's a good thing on this part anyway. So I thought that was good. So anyways, at this point, while Faith was crying, one of our other friends, the one doing her nails, was like, what, if you can break up with him, if you can leave him, leave him. And then the other friend is like, you know what, it seems like at some point, like, Loren left the United States, he came over here, and he told you, he was being truthful that, he had an STD, and he told you that immediately. So maybe he has some kind of goodwill or whatever. I was like, I don't think so. I feel like even if he didn't want to tell Faith that he was infected, the truth will still come out some way, somehow. He said that his cucumber is spewing green liquid. Okay, so I feel like at some point, if he gets to that situation, Faith is going to see some green something coming out of, and then there will be questions to be answered. Like, this question has to be answered anyway. So that's what I think anyway. So I just feel like it's just a hard situation. One of the friends was like, right now they're talking about STDs. Obviously, Loren has not been faithful to Faith, because basically he has been making her believe that they were like together and there was no one else, but he was over there like giving everybody his cucumber, over there. And it's like, at this point, in a situation like that, I don't think you can you can fix like a trust that has been broken. And I agree. So in this situation, we're just going to have to see what Faith decides later on. And we're catching up with Sunny and Veah. If you recall, Veah and Rory are at the airport in South Africa, okay? Because she is very anxious, and so the only way she's going to be able to travel, I guess, and feel okay is by bringing in Rory. So here at the airport, Veah tells Rory not to come out until she texts him 777. And basically, after he gets this text, that's when it's good to exit the building. Okay, now, is anyone concerned? Okay, because I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but this is like you can get away with murder for hire. I'm not saying that that's what she's doing or she would ever do or she has done before, but oh my God, that I got that vibes. And so then later on, Rory is like freaking out over Veah's anxiousness or whatever. And he was like, this is why I broke up with you. And no, she was like, oh no, that's why I broke up with you. I'm like, y'all just too much for me. Jesus Christ already. Anyway, fast forward, Veah ends up showing up alone and runs to hug Sunny. Okay, so they're catching up, they're meeting for the very first time. I guess it's a sweet moment. I feel like every single time that the couples meet each other, it's very sweet. But then you start thinking about all the craziness that they're up to, and you're like, oh, not so sweet. Anyway, so the camera pans over to Rory back in the airport. He was squatted, basically waiting for Veah's text of the 777. And behind the scenes, something is making a lot of noise downstairs. What is that noise? Oh, it's the wind. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, the camera pans over to Rory, and it was squatting or whatever. But at the bottom, it literally says comical music playing behind, and I was like, that seems very appropriate because this situation is completely comical. Veah and Sunny walk over to the car. Basically, he's gonna drive go to the hotel, and she was very surprised. Like the driver's seat is now on the left side, it's on the right side. Very different than in America. This girl needed to get out of America. She doesn't know anything. Anyway, at some point, okay, they start talking in the car, And the conversation just ends up leading to foreplay. I don't know how that came about, but it leads to foreplay. And Veah asks Sonny if he knows the definition of foreplay. Poor little naive, soulful, pure heart Sonny thinks that foreplay means four people playing. I think I must have thought that when I was a kid too. Like, hey, four people play. Like, you take this pillow, you take this pillow, let's play. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, that's not what foreplay is. Anyways, Veah ends up explaining what foreplay means to Sonny. And I think this is like a whole new thing for him. They get to the hotel. And Sonny asks Veah, hey, are you hungry? And she said yes. And Sonny was like, oh yeah, I prepared all this food for you. Like, I put in so much work in it. I prepared basically curry and bread. And this girl, guess what she says? She says, I don't know what's in it, so I'm not gonna eat it. It's curry. It's curry. Curry is the one food that literally has the name of the ingredients in the food as the title of the food. It's curry. Okay, curry is a seasoning. Look it up. God, I have no patience for this girl. At one point, I feel sorry for her because of what she went through. And then another point is just like, she's just so blissfully unaware, or she's just choosing to act stupid. I don't know. And she didn't even try. Like, just taste it. It works so hard to make this food for you. The least you can do is be like, oh, I'm gonna taste it, or maybe because you're like, oh, I don't really like to eat so many like different things, or I'm very picky. But come on, this is the very first time you guys are meeting. You could have just tasted it out. That was so disrespectful. And obviously Sonny felt that way too. Sonny did feel like it was disrespectful that she didn't even try to taste it or whatever. And so anyways, Sonny goes into the room. He's still like trying to decorate the entire like bedroom. It wasn't trying to like kill the mood or kill the moment. This is their very first time seeing each other. So he turns on the candle and whatever. And then she is like, she's gonna go take a bath. And so Sonny is like, oh, can I join? But she's like, no, I'm gonna do it alone. At that point I was like, okay, so the entire time y'all, like the previous week, didn't I just see her take her phone into the bathroom while Sonny was there? I'm guessing she's still feeling a little shy or whatever. She's taking the time to get comfortable with Sonny. So let's see. Okay, so at this point, Sonny is not trying to ruin the vibes. It's just like, whatever you want, honey. If this is not something you want, I'm not gonna try to force you into anything. I just like Sonny. He's full of sunshine, really. Sunshine and rainbows. I think that maybe some of her nervousness might come from the guilt that she feels that, her ex-boyfriend is here in South Africa, while her current boyfriend, is going above and beyond to make her comfortable in a different country that isn't hers. So yeah, you should feel bad. That girl, I'm trying to not to judge her, but it's hard. So next week, it looks like we're going to be meeting a new couple named, I don't really know their name again. I think one of them is from Croatia, named Bozo or something. And then the other one, she was dancing around eating fire in like glittery outfit. I don't know that much, but we'll see. And then Thirsty Brian, takes Ingrid. I said Ingrid. Sorry. Takes Ingrid to an hotel and gives her like a sexy gift. I was like, this guy just, Anyway, and then moving on, Matilda is still on this old topic. Like, all these 200 people are gonna come for our wedding. And then finally, I think Niles is gonna try to tell the truth, because, the idea of Matilda just announcing and saying it multiple times, our wedding, our wedding, our wedding, our wedding, our wedding. It was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I have to tell her already. And, Tiger Lily says that no one has called Adnan out on his behavior before. So I guess she's the one who's going to try to call it out. Anyway, I don't know. And it looks like Faith might actually ends up breaking up with Loren. I think so. I think she's finally gonna like let that nasty guy go. So thank God. Anyway, and then lastly, we're gonna be seeing Renee, the Lulu lady, getting out of the house. Hallelujah. Thank God. Chidi, do not chase after this girl. God has taken her away from your life. Just go with the flow, man. Go with the flow. Do not run towards that girl. Back it up. Back it up real far away like that. Back it up.